It sort of goes back to the maxim that your hero is only as good as your villain, and so that your villain needs to be powerful so that your hero has the greatest obstacle possible in taking him down.
What we wanted out of Percy was just a hardcore point of antagonism. And you're right, everything goes back to Star Wars, and he's the Emperor. And he's very politically savvy, and he knows how to occupy his space as guys come and go that occupy the seat that supposedly tells him what to do.
If something is threatening American interests, whether it's financial or human life, someone like Percy is there to drop them.
He's able to survive and move forward, and he sort of scatters secrets throughout the world, and he uses them to his advantage, uses them to destroy his foes, and he's constantly sort of the great chess player. And he's the Gary Kasparov of political plotting on the show, and Xander does a great job embodying that character.
And well, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to decline your offer. Part of the thing with Percy is that he sees himself as the smartest guy in the room. And so he amuses himself by feeling superior. And that is one thing. I can justify a lot of what Percy does on some level. And that's one of the things that provides both his arrogant and menacing quality at the same time as it gives him a sense of his own strange, aloof sense of humor.
No, it's not going to be a problem.
Well, Xander's a magnificent actor and is always going to bring something more than what's on the page, whether it's an unexpected humor or just a real human element.
Let me guess. I'm naturally evil, and so I just try to draw on that. I found from having a theater background that you could manipulate your energy and your voice and your face and your physical type. And
You didn't give it to her, did you?
it was really fun to get to go into dark places.
Shoot him.
Sometimes I'm pushing for Percy to be more soulless, and Xander's pushing for him to, you know, show signs of a soul. And in between that kind of that struggle, we end up with the character on screen, which is great.
You're messing with the wrong weapon.
This guy is a bottom line guy. He's going to keep America safe. That's what he's telling himself. Budgets are being cut. And how's he going to go about keeping America safe if he doesn't have the money to do it? So he's got to take some odd jobs on the side. Corporate jobs, global jobs with other governments and other economies.
Easy.
We need the capital if there's a crisis. So that justifies a whole realm of nefarious dealings around the world, and I think that's happening in lots of different agencies. There's a line in one of the episodes coming up, there's a lot of Indians. There ought to just be one chief, and he wants to be that chief.
And bring me all of theirs. This is war.
And I think he's maneuvering himself to be the top dog of federal Homeland Security agencies. I think he remains deeply patriotic and does believe in the American way of life, but does believe that it is a much more serious and complicated affair than most people make it out to be. And he feels he's the one that ought to be in charge of calling those shots. What are you worried about?
Communist rebels, hitmen from the old country. Nikita, she is a wild card. She knows our security procedures.
We knew going in that if Percy's going up against Nikita, Nikita's going up against Percy, that one of them has to, you know, win or lose every other episode, you know, and if Nikita kept beating Percy and just stomping him at the end of every show, eventually Percy would begin to look like a fool. So we had to find this balance where Percy might get defeated, but he would turn lemons into lemonade, you know, and turn his loss into at least some kind of win for himself. And at the end, he turns it completely all around on Nikita, and she finds herself scrambling to survive. Does survive and does make it, but at the cost of her relationship with Alex.
Ryan, they're all dead. We got played.
You certainly did. Nikita has this idealistic idea of how things ought to be, and he looks at her as a naive kid that has a misspent and seriously damaged childhood. He was so proud of her, and she was his star student. Instead of being grateful, she's gone rogue and she's turned on him and made him her enemy.
Percy really shows his true colors at the very end of the season, where he is able to completely turn everything around on Nikita and show that some of the losses that he took were in fact a learning process for him. He had discovered Alex was the mole and that Michael was working with Nikita, and instead of acting on it immediately, had totally used it to trap Nikita and to turn his sort of use her to complete his master plan.
She'll never take me down. I still believe I can turn her, just like I think, yeah, I'm really sad about what happened to Michael's family. That was never part of the plan. But I do believe that at the end of the day, having put a hit out on him saved thousands of lives. And so that's an extreme point of view on one hand, but it's also a very sensible and rational point of view on another hand, and not emotional, very cold and detached and pragmatic. And I think when Nikita's through, acting out in childish ways and being naive and idealistic, she's going to come around to the way the world works. Maybe she'll come back to Division.